of past elections. Take a listen.
We are asking them to put the bill as real-time electronic transmission. That's what we want. Those are the main things. We don't even want two things. And all those who are parading themselves, switching from different parties, we don't have the timeline is affected. 360 days, not more than that, not less than that, because you are causing confusion so that you can rig. We don't want any rigging election. We are not the politicians. But what we are saying is, let the voting be at the time it should be. Let there be a transparent election so that the votes can count. Nigerians need their votes need to count. That's all we are talking about.
Well, as supporters gathered momentum, a familiar political voice joined the march. It's the former Labour Party presidential candidate, Mr. Peter Obi, now of the African Democratic Congress. He says the debate is not about semantics, but about credibility, accountability, and preventing the kind of technical failures that undermine public confidence in 2023. Obi argues that leaving transmission methods open to discretion weakens the democratic process. Hear him.
Anybody says, I went to this primary school, I went to this secondary school, I went to this university, people are supposed to know about that. And that process has to continue through party primaries and everything. And finally, the election must be transmitted electronically from the polling booth direct. We don't want any transit point any longer. Let people watch it. That's what is happening in South Africa. That's happening in Ghana. That's happening everywhere. The giants of Africa have refused to be giants in anything. We cannot continue to shame Africa. We don't want any glitch again. Glitch is finished. We want things to happen directly. No more glitch.
Mr. Peter Obi, Labour Party presidential candidate in the 2023 elections. So let's get the conversation. Let's move it forward. I'm being joined by one of the most senior, experienced federal lawmakers in the National Assembly, a former House Majority Leader, and one of the senators who opposed the position has been publicly published as a position of the Senate, is Senator Abdul-Ningi, and his live for us here is the senator representing Bauchi State in the National Assembly. Senator, thank you so much indeed for your time tonight.
Yes, Shaun, thank you for having me. It's a pleasure.
Thank you so much indeed.
Yeah.
You and your colleagues, about 17 or so of you, came out after plenary on last Wednesday, or Thursday. The House of Party through fourth reading, but you envisaged that there was something wrong. Did you envisage that this kind of agitation will follow?
Well, the entire story has not been told, and it is important for Nigerians to understand the whole story. This is a process. As a member of the Electoral Committee, this is a process that started almost 2 years ago. And it was this same Apabio and Tajuddin that provided funding and the roadmap for all these exercises. The Apabio and the Speaker provided us funding to visit all the 6 geopolitical zones and spent at least 7 days there collecting results. And then we came back to Abuja, had a retreat in everything that we collected. For 3 weeks, we were studying all the submissions. We went to Lagos to finalize this arrangement. And in every step we have taken, INEC is involved, civil organizations are involved, international civil liberties are involved, Nigerian bar associations are involved, women groups are involved. And the issue of that e-transmission was an issue that is bipartisan in nature. We have submission from Lagos, APC, agreed. We have submission from Delta, agreed. We have submission from Ikiti, agreed. We have submission from Kano, from Katsina, from Bauchi, from Maiduguri, from Adamawa, all in totality, agreeing with the e-transmission real time.
Is it in the plenary?
No. During the public hearing.
During the public hearing.
And when we now finalize, we went to Lagos and asked INEC to come In every proceedings after the public hearing, ANEC had representation there in every matter. And we visited every location in this country. And we also asked our consultants to give us what's happening in Ghana, e-transmission, Botswana, e-transmission, Kenya, e-transmission, Rwanda, e-transmission. And we asked, how do they do it? Everything that we were doing, ANEC was there. Civil organizations were there. Nigerian bar associations were there. And we guided, we look at the angles, and then we finish everything by the end of October. When we went on this recess, House came back because the position of the House and that of the Senate is one and the same thing. And that when the House came and passed their own, we said, okay, and there was an outrage by Nigerians that maybe Senate wanted to delay. For whatever reason, we now said, okay, we wanted as committee members to inform Nigerians, to inform our colleagues who are not a party to being committee members, the reason for putting those clauses in the draft bill. And that's what we did. We took 2 days, had an executive session, and we acquainted every member that was present as to the necessity and the importance of each clause that we brought from the general public. And we agreed these are things that we are going to now take to Committee of the Whole, which is the five who were not a party to the executive session for the first time, for the second time, coming to executive session. And that's why it saddens us that as committee members, we should have been called to clarify from the data we collected.
So, Senator, apologies. Let me quickly cut in. So that Nigerians will understand. There are those who have been questioning the reason behind the executive session. Why go into an executive session, and for the sake of those who probably are not too familiar with parliamentary language or procedure, executive session is when the lawmakers will say, leave us alone, shut the door, no media, aides and all of us, leave us alone. We want to be alone on this matter. There are those who feel that if you are going to pass through this level, through the third reading, it's supposed, especially as a committee of the whole, in the floor of the plenary, everybody must hear and see for explanation. Because eventually that's what we do. We, the committee members, demanded that we should have an executive session to inform members as to the critical nature of the bill before us. Okay. As to how we arrive at certain clauses. Dude, I mean, why were you asking for executive session? Because of the debate, because of the prolonged debate. And that's why the executive session didn't last for 1 day. It lasted for 2 days. We started the executive session on the first day from 3 to 6:30. So you were disagreeing? It was a tough one. It was a very tough one. Back and forth over this e-transmission. Exactly. There are so many. There are so many critical areas. Timelines, powers of... Even an ad hoc committee was created to look at these areas from the legal perspective, from the political perspective, and we arrived at what we arrived. And what did you arrive at? Everything e-transmission, real-time e-transmission. Was that what you arrived at? Is what we arrived at. Let me. So the section that is in question here is section 60 sub 5. So 5, yeah. Section 60 sub 5 in the existing law as it is reads, the presiding officer shall transfer the result, including total number of accredited voters and the result of the ballot in a manner as prescribed by the commission. So 2 things, transfer, that's what the law says as of now, and gives the power and the prerogative to INEC to determine how he does it. There is no calculation of electronic or manual, but it does talk about manual though. 60 sub 3 says, the presiding officer shall give to the polling agent and the police officer, where available, a copy each of the completed forms after it has been duly signed as provided under subsection 2, meaning that there is an evidence or there is a copy of what is being taken to collation will be given to agents and police officers as evidence. But what we are now real time, those are big issues that some of your colleagues are now debating to say it is impracticable, it is impossible, and we cannot be able to have it because of some of 4 or 5 issues. You see, there are 2 things. One, the Senate sent us to do a public hearing. And in the course of this public hearing,
These issues were brought for discussion, not once, not 2 times, over 10 times. And it was the Nigerian Bar Association that made that submission. That this 60s of 3 is injurious to the parliament, to the Electoral Act, because they made reference to the statement of in the Supreme Court. So it is not viable. Give us what is supposed to be legal. And they provided this. Even after they provided this particular clause, we now subjected it to debate with INEC, to debate among members of the committee, both houses, and we agree this is a clause that will take for submission. These members are arguing. We're not in the executive session in the first place or in the second place. And they would have known this was the reason why this particular clause is in place. And we made some research. We said there is nowhere in this country that there is no POS. There is nowhere in this country that there is no phone. And POS is working in all the villages that you visited. So if we can have POS and we can have phone, why wouldn't? And I feel really sad. If a politician is really serious about himself, this is something that he should be glad that is in the law, because it doesn't offend anybody. This is something we are making progress. Other nations in Africa have made progress, and even the Senate President many times that we must make progress. So
let's look at a few of the issues, Senator. And we have the privilege that you're not only a minority member of the Senate, you have that oversight. Secondly, you are a member of the Electoral Committee headed by Senator Simon Lalong of Plateau State. Now, the legal issue that was raised as to the position of the Supreme Court in the last election, say that you cannot, because the law does not provide for transmission of the result to the IREV portal. Therefore, anything that is extracted from the IREV portal, to the extent of its relevance to the election, does not hold water because it's not prescribed for in the law. So the question is that how did the MBA and the lawyers and the consultant, how did they resolve? Because if you have not displaced the position of the Supreme Court judgment in the order of in the hierarchy of our laws, I have a feeling might supersede the Act of Parliament. Is it?
They cannot. They cannot. First of all, let me say the National Assembly and oppose this in. I can tell you clearly shown 98% of all senators, 98% have keyed in to this e-transmission. So when I see opposition personalities parading themselves, that means they were not told the whole story. And even when we came to the press conference that we had as an opposition, we made mention that this thing has not taken a party dimension, because the chairman of the Electoral Committee of the House, Senator Long, is an APC member. The chairman of the Electoral Committee of the House is an APC member. 80% of members of the Electoral Committee of the Senate are APC. 80% of them are APC from the House. So there is nothing reading in the Committee of the Whole. And I told you, ordinarily, we are not taking words. And then we saw some people emerging, like guiding you on the day of the election. You find that you are on your own. I was to ask the parliament to do this thing, to do that thing. 25 of them came back. In the House, less than 60 of them came back. This is...
Senator, in all of it, one thing that is certain is that this law will not pass until there is a concurrence. And we understand that there's harmonization committee will be set up, they will meet, and all of these. Because what the House of the version, the amended version of the House, let me read it to you. And for the sake of our viewers tonight, what the contention is well captured and taken care of in the version that the House of Reps passed through third reading in December of last year. And this is how they captured it. The Commission shall electronically transmit the results from each polling unit to IREV portal in real time, and such transmission shall be done simultaneously with the physical collation of results. That is the version of the House of Reps which they passed. Is it exactly how you captured it?
You see, there is no version between the House and the Senate.
It's the same thing.
Because we're on the same page. Every clause, every sentence was agreed upon before we submitted. But the only difference is that they submitted their report before us.
But now, what some of your colleagues are now arguing is that, one, you cannot guarantee real time. You cannot do it simultaneously. There cannot be e-transmission. And they gave reasons. Part of the reasons they gave is that there's a problem in infrastructure, poor network coverage. And you heard the Senate President, he made the explanation. Possible cyber security risk. Do we have the infrastructure and legal dispute that could bring some of this provision into jeopardy?
A lot of it is lack of misunderstanding of the role of a legislature. When you are a legislature and when you go into a public hearing and the preponderance of opinion is on a particular matter, your job is to report what happened to the public in the public hearing. Your job is to protect what happened. Your job is to explain to your colleagues what happened and why this particular clause is there. The Senate President can say, this is a personal opinion. The public wanted us to do this. Showing we are not there on our own. We are elected by people. And the people said, this is what we want. Those who are going to implement these things, are they the legislatures? No, it's INEC. Was INEC not there? Was some of these questions not raised? Was a reply was made? All these questions that you raised, they were raised. They were discussed.
Why are your colleagues angry with Godswill Akpabio? He's just a presiding officer.
Probably they're angry because we discussed a matter and allowed other to reopen it. Probably that is the reason. But kudos must be given to him for making sure that this electoral committee was formed and went to work in good time. In good time. I have never been in a committee that sat and do diligent job like this electoral committee because he funded it. And we made a progress report and he was asking this.
So, Senator, tomorrow there is an emergency plenary. I'm very sure that you traveled and you came back hurriedly because
I came back here
of this. Today, What do you think will happen tomorrow?
I have no idea of... one thing that is very important is that the votes and proceedings
has not yet been
captured. So tomorrow, we need to look at the votes and proceedings. We need to look at what has the votes and proceedings captured. Is it transfer? Because there was a motion for amendment by Monguno. And then the question was put. Who had the question? Why was the question raised? What was it discussed? Because it is important that when you bring a motion on something that you have no idea of. One of the reasons why maybe people are not comfortable, are not so happy, is that the Senate President should have asked us as committee. No. Asked us as committee. There is a chairman of the committee. There are members of the committee. Senior legislators.
Educate us on this matter.
Alero, Yahaya, please educate us on this issue that this Monguna has raised. Transfer. What is the implication?
Senator, tomorrow, one will expect that procedurally, that the Senate President will put it to vote, right? The motion, and we might be able to eventually put the third reading to bed. Is that what we could expect? Because he said that vote and proceeding have not been adopted yet. So it is not dead. This phase of the procedure is not over yet.
Exactly, it is not over.
So what we expect tomorrow, for example, is we see the Senate President put clause by clause to vote. Is that it?
Yes. I'm here and I'm telling you with all sense of responsibility that this is not a party thing. It has never been seen as a party thing. Up to the moment we went into committee with the whole. If tomorrow the Senate President decides to say, is it transfer or transmission, and the gavel was sit on transfer, they have their way. They have two-thirds majority.
So that's a case of minority may have their say, majority will have their way. But is it possible, and we're pleading, if that vote will be put up tomorrow, let us know who, if Ningi says transfer, let us know. If it's Akpabio says transmission, let us know. Let every senator bear his own father's name and let us know who is voting for who. Is it possible that we can have that scenario?
I think it's possible. It depends on the presiding officer because the law, our law provides that. You can stand up and say, I Ningi, I accept e-transmission red time. I sit down. It's recorded. Every other senator. And that is the only way.
We need to be able to. I think that is one thing Nigerians should be asking for tomorrow, that if and when the vote and proceedings are going to be adopted, let us know how lawmakers, by constituency, how they voted and how that their votes are being captured, so that we'll be able to know. And Nigerians will be able to know who did what and who said what. And the question will be asked right here, fundamentally, before I allow you to go, Senator, is that there are those who said, there are drop calls in some part of the country, even though the networks sometimes are very terrible, but in the nook and crannies of this country, POS machine work there.
Exactly.
But it fails in some places.
But there's an agency, I can tell you, who have come before us and said they have covered Nigeria, that they can provide services every part of the country.
So why don't we adopt that?
Why don't you adopt it? We're moving forward.
So have you seen Society of Engineers' position on this matter?
Not
They
yet.
captured you. I will send it to you. You need to see their position. Maybe it will also inform the votes and proceedings tomorrow when some of you in the committee educate your colleagues tomorrow.
Yeah, you know, before I go, show, I feel so sad and outraged myself when I see the condemnation across this country, condemning the Senate in its entirety. And that's why for us, we need to tell the story. It's not everybody that is in court with this transfer. And I can tell you 98% of the senators are in agreement with the submission made by the House, with the mission we also brought to the Senate. I don't know how they are trying to make it a party affair. I don't think so. Like I told you, APC governors have presented these positions, PDP, and they are all saying e-transmission.
Yeah. Tomorrow, we don't want to say the A's have it or the nays have it. We want a situation where the votes are clearly captured per senator. Let us know who voted for what. That way, we will know who is progressive or who is less progressive and wherever anyone is standing. But Senator Abdul Nengi, thank you so much indeed. I appreciate your time.
Thank you for having me.
And it's good to see you again.
This discussion.
Thank you so much.
I
appreciate it. We'll take a break, everyone. But when we return, we'll be getting perhaps a look at the legal angles to all of these issues. I'm going to be joined by the 2023 presidential candidate of the SDP, Prince Adewale Adebayo. He's representing his political party and the legal position on this matter. He'll be explaining to us his views after this break, everyone.
In the beating heart of Owerri, business never sleeps. From sunrise to sundown, the wheels keep turning. And behind the scenes, vision meets action. Governor Hope Uzodimma's leadership has turned manifestos into reality, transformations that feels like a miracle. But progress needs peace, and in Imo, it's not left to chance. From land to sky to river deep, guardians are watching, protecting dreams and opportunity. At Orashi's quiet shore, hydropower is rising, set to energize a growing economy. The change is visible. New roads emerge, industry hums, communities come alive. At the center, a digital revolution. 500,000 young minds trained each year to build the future. As Orashi rises, so does Imo and the hopes of a hard-working people. A new Imo is on the rise.
My Baba, they always say, for market, every day gets your own wahala. Sometimes people go on scam you. But Baba say, no be by gra. You must cool down, dey sharp. Because with OPay payment, your money go enter sharp, no story. But inside market, anything fit happen. One day, we no see phone again. My Baba remember OPay USSD lock, dial *955*131#. Baba press am, lock account. from market woman to driver, from small boy to big man. Now, OPay, they protect people like us. My papa fit sell, press phone, collect POS, and still they teach me price. And when they don't tire, go just tap OPay night guard. We no fear for this our hustle life. Now, OPay be the people payment shield.
Thanks so much, everyone, for staying with us on the program. There are those whose name will be on the ballot on that day, and they will want their votes to be captured electronically. And their major stakeholder, they ran against President Bola Tinubu in 2023. We don't know whether they will be on the ballot, but he's one of those who say he has a stake. And in this matter, not only as a lawyer, a senior lawyer but someone who also thinks that the right thing must be done. But what's that right thing? I'm being joined by Prince Adewale Adebayo, is the 2023 presidential candidate of the SDP. Thank you, Prince, for joining us tonight.
Good to see you, Shehu, and God bless Nigeria.
I appreciate it. God bless Nigeria. Interestingly, that when I get to the airport, people now call me God bless Nigeria.
Yes,
but I mean, we must deliberately be praying for our country. We need it. We need it. And we need to work and pray. But thank you so much indeed. Do you feel threatened as someone who ran for president that this conversation has taken this dimension about the transmission of result? And if your name is going to be on the ballot again, do you think that if this does not go through, that your votes or vote for you might be threatened if you were on the ballot?
I feel ashamed that we are discussing something as straightforward as this. I feel disappointed that our national leaders are showing that they don't say the truth when they say the national pledge. That I pledge to Nigeria, my country, to be faithful, loyal, honest, to serve Nigeria with all my strength, to defend our unity, and uphold her honor and glory. So help me God. That they are lying. Because a decent person in a decent society who sees that we are coming together, we have solved 3 problems for this country. We have said we will not be ruled from abroad, no matter who the person is. We got independence. We have said that we will not be ruled by anybody not elected by the people. That we must end military rule, end coups, end hijack of power. 3, we have said that we are not going to have violence in our election again. No burning of houses, no wet here, no all of that. Now, the National Assembly agreed. INEC, that's going to carry it out, agreed. Professional bodies agreed. Political parties agreed. Civil society organizations agreed. The House Committee agrees. The Senate Committee agrees. Then the Senate President, receiving text messages from saboteurs, decided to set the country on fire. Over what? Over a minimum requirement that elections should be seen by the public to be transparent. There are still other problems, like campaign finance, like excessive spending, like buying of votes, like all those things. But this basic requirement, imagine if there is a football team that says that they are only going to play a match where the referee agrees not to use the VAR in case there's a dispute. So that is what is making me to feel like, is this how I want to spend my lifetime? I spend my youth fighting the military. I'm now going to spend my adult life fighting electoral bandits masquerading as legislators. Is this what I want to do the next decade? Are these discussions we should be having in 2026? Is this what President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who was holding hands with late President Muhammadu Buhari and other opposition people, saying that the will of the people must be done, walking on the street? Is this what they meant? To come and asphyxiate democracy and end it with one stubborn sabotage of the Electoral Act amendment? Because I can tell you, you are talking about my name in the ballot. Nobody is going to this ballot
without the proper law being passed.
So so we see and we hear the response of the National Assembly. And the Senate President had come out on Saturday to say, look, I don't know why people are jumping the gun. We have not yet finalized. And he's saying, look, these are the reasons behind some of the disapprovers on some of the technicalities involved in the framing of the amendment that could possibly cause legal problem, technical infrastructure problems, and also give us some inconclusiveness to our elections if we are not careful. Those are the explanations of Senator Godswill Akpabio on Saturday. But there will be an emergency plenary tomorrow. Do you think that there is a way to salvage the situation tomorrow?
The way to salvage the situation is for Godswill Akpabio to remember his beginnings, his humble beginnings, to know that he's a nobody in Nigeria. He's only a somebody today because of the will of the people of Akwa Ibom State who made him governor, who also sent him to the National Assembly, and the will of Nigerians to have a Senate president. So he's not here to come and lecture us. He's not wiser than the next person. What he's doing is where he's supposed to show leadership. He wants to make himself a mercenary to undermine democracy. The solution is for him to go back and repent. Let the process conclude. We've agreed on this language. It is very clear. This language was signaled to us by the Supreme Court. I myself stood in front of the Supreme Court to argue the case on these issues. And the Supreme Court, Justice Nguta, many of them, on many occasions told me, hey, Dr. Adebayo, forget it. Anything that is not in the Electoral Act, don't bring it here.
So from that point, legally speaking, and the Senate President is also a very senior lawyer in the bar. So you will imagine that those who are preempting and say, we might enter into a legal conundrum. A problem is waiting in the dark for us if we are not careful. If the Supreme Court said you cannot do this because it's not provided by law, what are we supposed to do? Can we use the provision of the Act of Parliament to override the position of the Supreme Court?
Supreme Court is telling us that we must, if we want to secure our elections through electronic transmission, we must put in the Electoral Act. It's already in INEC regulation. And INEC regulation, Supreme Court has said it is not binding. They can follow it, they may not follow it. You can't come and cancel an election, make a complaint, do anything based on the fact that INEC said it did not follow its own rules. But INEC cannot escape not following the Electoral Act. Nobody. So what we tried to do was to upgrade that optional provision into a statutory language. Now, there is no linguistic gymnastics there. It's clear. No need to go back to Brighter Grammar Book 1, Book 2, looking for the conjunction and disjunction. What we have agreed is that when the election result has been computed, you put it on the paper, or the EC8, result sheet, and agents sign, everybody signs, you transmit it through the BVAS machine to the IRF. So you stay in your studio here. If you receive all the election results, you know that there's no abracadabra that anybody can do. The scenario where governor will carry convoy, come at night, you saw in Edo State where the former outgoing governor was struggling to enter the office of the REC. All that struggle is to ensure that some came to defend the result at the polling unit, others came to change the result at the polling unit. IREF removes all that brigandage. You send the result, it goes in real time, everybody gets the result. So
the law has been contemplated. The amendment has been contemplated, which of course it was Section 5, is Section 60 sub 5 of the present Electoral Law 2022 that has captured it, and how physically and derogated the power to INEC as INEC deem fit. And what the Supreme Court said, look, you cannot use the guidelines of INEC because it is prescribed also under INEC's rules and regulation that for every election, INEC will provide a guideline on how to conduct the election. So the law says INEC will capture the result or transfer the result as prescribed by INEC.
Yes.
Right. But the law, as being contemplated now, is saying, one, you have to electronically transmit it. It even specifically says
to the IRF.
To the IRF.
Yes.
Secondly. Thirdly, he said it's going to be real time.
Yeah, right there.
And he said because real time and simultaneously almost, but it's simultaneously with the physical. As you are entering the physical,
what the provision is saying is that send you with your God's heart before the devil start talking to you. That's what he's saying.
What if the devil had spoken to the person?
That's what's talking to Akpabio now. That's why we are stopping it from the beginning.
Why would you say
no, I'm telling you, because if you are... Look, this position of Senate President, it's not the first to be there. Uwa Forisu was there. Nnamdi Azikiwe was there. Joseph Wires was there. Everyone was there. Chuba Akadibo was there. Up to his own time. Why does he want to end democracy with legislative rascality? This is something important. It's not a political issue.
But is this about Akpabio? It's just one man. A presiding officer out of the 109.
That presiding officer is meant to be the person who wants the people's work to continue. That is to say, all of them can preside at the same time. That is why it's number 3. As I'm talking to you now, if Senator Akpabio walks into this room, I will be on my feet because he's the number 3 man in my country, and is the chairman of the National Assembly, where all the wise people in Nigeria have selected a representative, is presiding over them. He needs to acquire that charisma. He needs to understand the gravitas of that office. You cannot be in that office and be an errand boy for foreign or outside interests. There is equality of the branches of government. And the Senate has the power to do everything on behalf of the people, including the power to approve whether the president goes to war or not. You need to be serious. If you are not a serious person by nature, immediately you sit on that seat, you are serious. He is in the same position as the Chief Justice of Nigeria. But he's not just an ordinary judge.
One will imagine that it might be unfair, the language that you have used against him, because there are those who will say, Akpabio alone cannot vote on this bill. Pointing him out
we have spoken
to
his colleagues. He is the cause of this trouble.
How?
Because it's at the stage where they were. They've done all their committee work. They've gone to discuss the matter in the executive session, which all of them were there. And they were to come out to formalize it. Any issue which would have been controversial that can be disruptive was meant to have been dealt with in the executive session. Because in that session, you are not pleasing anybody. If anybody is breathing down your neck from Villa, from the market, from anywhere, they are not inside there. You are there with your... Just like judges, after hearing a case, they go into their chamber and hold conference. They're not trying to please anybody. There's no plea to the gallery. So they debated the issue. Now, when they came out, somebody raised a point which you could clarify. You allow it to show, because nobody's a baby. It shows to you that you have other interests you are serving. And you have now come to bring people to come and disrupt the thing. And then you now, on top of all the earlier processes, say that you are going to retain the problem we spend money to come and solve. But if we were happy with the old clause, why were we going to Lagos, go to Kaduna, do public hearing? I received many letters from the National Assembly. Say, come and talk over this matter.
You saw the agitation today, and it does look like the Senate has seen the handwriting, and they have gone for an emergency.
Saw, it's not agitation, no. That is warm-up.
Really?
I tell you, I pray to God Almighty that will resolve the matter. That one is not agitation, no. That is fashion parade. When they see...
It's a child's play?
It's a fashion parade.
To what you guys are planning?
Yes, I just came from Lagos now. You will see the news, we're all planning. Everybody's all over the country planning. Because this democracy is important to me than me becoming president. This democracy is more important to me than me being a billionaire. Be more important to me than any other thing. Because the ability of the black man to have a country of his own, where he can experiment his talent, protect his family, protect his children, and we can project our power to the world. It is true democracy. So that is the same government is saying that they caught coup plotters. All of us were worried. You called me to the studio here. We were discussing that if you are a coup plotter, we deal with you in this country. Why are we dealing with coup plotters? And we are allowing coup plotters to be National Assembly and frustrate the intention of the people of Nigeria. What we need to understand is the representative government. Nobody among them there is a reality.
Prince.
We surrendered the power of all the people of Nigeria and gave to the National Assembly. That is why the Supreme Court does not encourage INEC to make regulations.
So I asked the question about the Supreme Court.
To do it.
And looking at the hierarchy of our laws in this country, of course, the grand norm being the father and the mother of them all. Yeah, and you look at it, the Act of Parliament seems to be a bit more superior next to the Constitution. Yes. But if the Supreme Court, for example, whatever the Supreme Court judgment is law, is binding, yes. Except if it's vitiated by the position of the Supreme Court itself or the Constitution.
This is very simple.
So if you say, if the Supreme Court has said you cannot do it this certain way, and what are we supposed to do with that Supreme Court judgment of 2023?
That is what we came to amend. You see, Supreme Court,
with this amendment,
it will cure it
naturally.
Naturally, because what the Supreme Court is doing is that Supreme Court is saying, if you want to make a rule binding in this country, go back to the people's representative
and put it there.
Put it there. Whatever they say is what we are going to interpret. Supreme Court does not sit down on its own and decide we like this, we don't like that. No, they just give you interpretation
of the law.
And in this case, they are saying, don't elevate INEC administrative rules to become a binding law. The same argument in SDP, in INEC versus SDP, when they sue us to court, that our appointment of our national leadership did not comply with INEC regulation. Supreme Court said, who are you, INEC? The SDP is superior to you in their own affairs. You can only come and complain that SDP did not obey their own constitution or the Electoral Act or the Constitution of Nigeria. As for your own regulation, they don't have to obey it.
So, Prince, as it is right now, can we salvage the situation tomorrow?
We can salvage the situation tonight. National Assembly doesn't need to meet tomorrow. They can meet tonight to say, we have made a mistake. Let us correct it. And luckily for them, it's attempted coup, attempted cheating. They have not finished. It's not like somebody come to carry your laptop, thinking you are sleeping. Immediately you open your eyes, I'm just helping you to clean it. You drop it. You may try to drop the case. What they try to do is to steal democracy. We will call them red-handed. So they should come tomorrow. Everybody should not come, no party, no nothing. And let me tell you, it's not a position matter. I have spoken to more than 50 APC people. They said, we want it. Because we too don't know what will happen on election day. But so what we want, let them come and look at the name they gave them in their birth certificate. Everybody should answer his father's name.
That means the votes tomorrow, there are those of us who will think that let the Nigerian people see, let it be televised.
We have to see it so that we
let it televise one, and let every lawmaker vote by his own. Let us be able to know who is voting.
You know, you have witnessed many inaugurations. Yeah. You've covered many.
Absolutely.
There is an oath that they take, oath of allegiance to the Federal Republic of Nigeria. We want to see who has allegiance to Nigeria tomorrow. There's another oath they take. The oath to say they will protect Nigeria against enemies, foreign and domestic. Tomorrow we want to know the enemies domestic. Those who want to truncate the will of the people. The enemy domestic. Tinubu should continue for another 20 years. Are we going to say majority have their way? There are some things majority cannot have their way.
And you think this is one of them?
This is one of them. Majority cannot say that they will hijack power.
But have you looked at the argument? There are 4 dimensions into those arguments. Issue of port network coverage, issues of cybersecurity risk, issue of infrastructure deficiency, issue of risk of...
They should add to it. What if it thunder strike that day? If it's raining that day? What if market doesn't open? Those are excuses. There is no part of Nigeria, NCC, Nigeria Communication Commission, work with INEC when they went to bring this technology. They have used it in over 165 elections. They have used it in every part of Nigeria. We cannot listen to any tale by moonlight. There is no place in Nigeria where you cannot send text message. What IRF is doing is mere sending of text message. Go and see there. If they don't understand technology or they pretend they don't understand it, we understand it. INEC, the implementer, is not complaining. The political parties met with INEC chairman. They asked INEC chairman, what do you prefer? INEC chairman prefers the fashion that INEC submitted. Give us the power to mandatorily do transmission, because INEC too knows that when the crunch comes, the instruction they give to their electoral officers, they may be influenced below. So that's why the IRF is the CCTV in a warehouse. You cannot switch it off. Nobody will accept that.
Adewale Adebayo, the presidential candidate of the SDP in the 2023 election. Thank you so much indeed for coming tonight. But I mean, Senator Ningi went as far to say, look, it is not all of them, that the majority who wanted e-transmission. But
there are only 7 of them who want to sabotage the will of 109. That is why we are talking.
7 of them?
7 only. And they just put it together because they got a dirty job to do, and they need to stop it. The will of the people is
who are these 7?
Akpabio and 6. They know themselves, and I think they are repenting now. They need to go and pass the law. We need this democracy more than any other thing.
All right, thank you.
Please, God
tomorrow,
bless
it will be good for us to have this televised, and not only that, you can also go and check the National Assembly website, know who is your senator, and be able to monitor and see. This is the moment where you will be an active citizen.
And we are coming tomorrow to refresh their memory that they are working for us. We are coming to escort them to work. Bring your family to work. Tomorrow is happening in the National Assembly.
President Adewale, thank you so much. Thank you so much, everyone, for being a good company. The conversation continues. Of course, you can see what's happening online and social media. You can be an active citizen. Don't sit on the sideline. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Sean Kimale. God bless Nigeria.